Ha! Expand, unlimited human. How are you today? End of the week. I am tuning in with my eyes closed. I'm really feeling how good it feels. The week, the day, the moment, as I acknowledge the progress I went through. Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, all the people I served, all the people I smiled, all the fear and grief and pain that I processed. How about you? How about you? How much have you put into this week? So I am inviting you to celebrate and create value. Today's mastermind here, I will run it. I will be live for long. I'll be live for long. And if you want to join me and have a conversation, you have the link in the banner here scrolling down. And you also have the link to actually join in the conversation with me live. You can just click the link or copy paste the link in the description and we'll mastermind together. The mastermind is to plan together for next week, really, even just giving tips on how to create the best week ahead and helping each other to do it and to celebrate and acknowledge the greatness that you created. Because I'm sure, I am heck blessed and sure that you've done something amazing this week. And if you let others hear that, ooh, it will help. And yeah, thank you for commenting. By the way, I'm through the roof. Yes, the energies are strong in this very moment. Come on and share the stage with me. You have the link scrolling down and you have the link in the description. This wants to be a conversation. This wants to be a mastermind. I will be doing it every week, actually. I'll be doing it every week at around this time. Whether it's live or it's private, at a certain point, it will need to become private because we'll become more and more. And this can only take 10 people. But until 10 people are on and creating conversation, masterminding on the best week ahead and celebrating the actual week past, learning lessons. And I'll share my own process. Hello, Dr. Marcia. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Cynthia. So nice to have you. Until that is the case, okay? Until we're not too many, we can do it here live. Then we'll hop on private Zoom meetings because it won't be possible to be live together. But what are your takeaways from this week? What happened this week that was so valuable that if you would go into next week, you'd double down on that? So this is an important question. What would you double down on to next week that you've done this week? Because it worked, because it felt good, because it was effective, or because maybe you still need to refine. And indeed, that's the other question. Okay. And I do this every week. I make sure that I learn a lesson from the week that just passed so that I can lead towards the next week, either repeating and doubling down and tripling, quadrupling, what is that? Pentapling down onto what worked. Or if I had to repeat the week like 1,000 times, what would I improve? What would I do different compared to this week? All right. And actually, this is the last Friday of the month. So think back to your month. What have you done so great? What are you celebrating? For example, I'm celebrating that I stuck to my plan and I launched and I opened the 10-week journey, Living Next Level Now. That's the name of it. And I've got 7 beautiful, wonderful, embodied souls as founding members on the journey. And I'm celebrating that I stuck to the plan. That's what I see, because in the past I would have postponed that if I saw that things weren't ready. But instead, this time I stuck to the plan, and I embraced imperfectionism. So I'm embracing progress rather than perfection. So join on if you do have something to share about it. And woo, we do have Isabel, we do have Cynthia, and well, we do have another wonderful soul here with us. When he's ready, we'll bring him up. But Isabel, Cynthia, welcome in this live mastermind. How are you feeling today? Who wants to start?
I'm good. I'm
Isabel.
good.
Isabel's
Yes.
good. Cynthia.
I am doing freaking phenomenally. Thank you so much for asking. How are
That
you?
felt good. I'm through the roof. I'm through the roof. I'm actually very happy to have you here on board with me. Klaus down in the invisible, you guys live don't see him, but there's someone else here with us. Whenever he's ready, he'll just pop in this on the screen. So what have you learned from past week? What are you celebrating of this week that is over, of this month that is ending? Isabel, Cynthia. Let's begin with Isabel. She was the first one speaking. What did you learn? What takeaway? What inspiring lesson have you got?
I realized one of the things that I would say this journey of awakening is really figuring out the piece that you are to assist your own awakening and others, right? And one of the things that I didn't mean to resist, but I kind of resisted, was Spirit was always telling me I am the teachers of teachers. And
Mm,
really kind of owning that has been a process, you know.
yes.
I did a session yesterday with Alexi, and we were doing an exchange. So she's another spiritual teacher, and she teaches entrepreneurs. She actually reads palms, and there's codes in your palm.
Yeah.
And I'm very familiar with codes and unlocking patterns.
No.
But, you know, one of the things around marketing as a spiritual teacher or finding your people, right, is really knowing who are you talking to? Because I am
Mm.
not talking to the new ones. I have attracted the teachers that they're just beginning, that they are aware that they're a teacher, but there's still so much resistance.
They're not yet really leaning into that, and you understood it, and you started accepting that. And as you started accepting that, you started
Yes.
attracting that.
Yes.
Ooh, so
Yeah.
beautiful. I
So it was
celebrate
sort
you.
of like what I would say, it's sort of like hidden, the mirror, the seen and the unseen, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And really, um, in that session, we were at the Egyptian temple in ancient Egypt. And she said, "Oh, Isabel, I see you. You're wearing all gold." And I said, "Oh, am I goddess Isis?" And she said, "Yes. And my mother is a concubine, and I am the son of the concubine of Osiris. And you love me. You treated me as family." And I
Sweet.
said, and what's weird is when I went to an exhibit in Montreal, an Egyptian exhibit, I was already channeling at that point, and I was talking to Isis. And I said, "Isis, Osiris had concubines?" And she said, "Yes, many. And they were like family to me." And no one knew this experience. And here I am doing a regression, and I get validation and confirmation of what
That's
I
it.
had channeled.
I celebrate you and what you decided to let in. Actually, this feels massive. This feels very strong. I can tell
Yeah.
through my own way of intuiting, kind of like I get this physical sensations as a form of intuition. That's my way of intuiting. So okay, that's what Isabel celebrates. And Cynthia, what are you celebrating for this week? What are you celebrating for this month?
I am celebrating all of the lessons that I learn on a day-to-day basis, and as I was listening to you speak, Isabel, like so much of what you said resonated with me. You know, because you're constantly like, well, where exactly am I in this in this particular relationship? And just about the time you think you're the teacher, then you find out that you're actually the learner. And it's a beautiful thing. Like it's a beautiful process. It's also quite humbling at times. You know? So.
It is.
Uh,
It is.
so
It's really owning who you are. And it's like, you're in this journey and you think you own who you are, right? Because there's always layers of understanding. And I knew I was this, when they said, Isabel, you're the ascension teacher, I was just like, shouldn't I be ascended? And they're like, no, you start teaching where you are now.
Yeah. Oh, you spoke about marketing and uh, the message and all of that, and the fact that you started welcoming, embracing. Okay, this month was when you truly actually accepted that you're the teacher's teacher, and at that point you started attracting. So the and this can be discussed, but this is also one of my understandings, maybe in the past 6 months, I might say, that embodiment of your understanding, so starting to practice and starting to be that who you are, that is pure marketing, kind of just very big label word in a way, that the marketing, because as you start embodying, you start being, you start necessarily resonating as, and that attracts alike, that brings alike towards you, that creates that magnetism inevitably. Like uh it resonates, it resonates.
It
So it's
is.
beautiful
It
that
is.
that you let it in, and this moment of acknowledgement is created for this, Isabel. This moment, this Friday 28th of July, eventually it's created for the acknowledgement of what worked. So take it in. um and for you, Cynthia, as well, like kind of, you said the day-to-day basis lessons. I might even ask you, girls, and I'll share my own, of course, but what is that you're taking onward with you? Like, what are you doubling down onto?
I
Well,
think
huh?
what one of the things is just acknowledging that, you know, I teach the college students, I teach the teachers, and really kind of own. And the irony is I've only attract teachers. That's the irony. I've only attract the light workers. I've only attracted the star seeds. And what point of their journey do I attract them? Well, they've already had their awakening. They already have their understanding. It's just that, what was resisting in me was I'm that PhD level. I'm that deeper level. So not everyone's going to get a master's. Not everyone's going to go to college. But the understanding is the light workers and star seeds and the inner magic teachers, there's only 11 to 7 million of us. They were very, very clear. Many, many conversations with humans here, many conversations and downloads from spirit, that we have this code within us this experience within us. We are ascendant masters, and we sort of gave up the seat. Like there could only be so many of us because we wanted to give the souls that did not have the experience in their soul field to experience a shift of consciousness from 3 to 5. And so there's only so many of us for 5 billion humans.
Which is perfect. Just
Yeah.
perfect in the way it is. Which is perfect in the way it is. Hey, you know, if there's a I mean, learning, another learned lesson in a way, as you speak, that comes to my mind. It's recent, but it's kind of it keeps on coming up, and it actually came very strong. Is this thing that it is okay? Of course, it came up really, really a while ago, but these, I mean, the completely deep down fact that the sufferance, even just talking to the extreme, that it's not pleasant of the human experience, the sufferance, that is perfect in itself, because it's needed
It is. And, you
to
know,
move forward.
one of the things that one of the messages that I will be teaching all humans, not just teachers, is really the understanding, and Spirit has said this, but there is no victim. You are not broken.
Uh-huh.
But what it is that the teachers still hold judgment and pain to their stories. They hold pain to their stories because the missing component for the teachers is seeing the gift of the story and actually grieving the story. And I think when we do healing work, whether we do inner child work or shadow work or however you want to call it, that missing component for the teachers is the grieving. And you almost need to really go into your soul field multiple times, and, Goddess Isis did this work in ancient Egypt, that we go into your soul field multiple times so you really understand your energetic patterns and stories that your soul and oversoul created for you. So there are levels of awareness for teachers that they understand that they are teachers, they are teaching, but they're not grieving their story. And it's a necessary component.
Yeah, that's very nice. Look, let's not drop too deep in here. I love it. I really, really love it. But I see that we could stay in there for quite a while, because this is this is a piece. Yeah, it's a needed piece for humanity.
Smaller
I
piece,
would like to
right?
hear from Cynthia
Yes.
what she's got on her mind, because I know she can be listening and processing extremely deep. Uh, what's on your mind, my dear philosopher Cynthia?
Well, I honestly, like, I'm just having the time of my life listening. But
I
again,
know you
so
have.
much of what you're saying resonates with me, and my field of study is actually philosophy. You are basically speaking the same thing that I speak, just in a different language. So I do it philosophically, and that moment when you see somebody actually understand what you're talking about, like, it's beautiful. And to speak to something that you had said earlier, about projecting, about, being your most authentic self, and then you project that most authentic self. Like there's nothing more beautiful than that. Although I would also say, and this is something that I didn't think of for a very long time, the brighter you project, the more shade you provide, and there's always people willing to stand in that darkness.
Yeah, I don't want to hijack this, but just one more thing, because they're on me on this. The shadow, one of the things that they were saying is, if you look at a tree and a tree casts a shadow on the ground, is the shadow the tree? But it still has the shape and form of the tree, the shadow of the tree on the ground. And so one of the weirdest things of this conversation with the spirit team was, is the shadow not real? Can you not stand in the shadow? Can you not see the form? Can you not see the shape? And I said, huh. And that is where our students are. They are standing in that shadow of the tree, and they see the form, they see the shape, they feel it, and that is where they are. And to get them not to be afraid of that shadow is probably the next wave that the teachers.
Hang on. I do have the question then. And I know that it is exactly, I mean, it is then going deep eventually. but I mean, cannot be asked, cannot be avoided, like this question. So coming from what you both just said, then what would that shadow's function be
So,
coming from that?
Cynthia, you go first.
Well, when I was talking about the shade, it wasn't the same thing as the shadow. Like, of course, the shadow would be the tree because we are just all alternate aspects of the same self. Like every person that you meet is just a reflection of yourself, be it dark, be it to the positive or the negative. And that is different, like you want to take care of yourself, but then there are these other actors who do it for nefarious reasons, and I've come across this several times, and that's what I'm talking about, the shade. When you are projecting so brightly, people are paying attention to that, people are drawn to that, and they don't notice that there's a lot of sketchy stuff happening in the background, and you don't notice that there's a bunch of sketchy stuff happening in the background because you're like, oh! So just throwing that out there. But the shadow, yes, that would be the place to bring the people who are actually sincere in becoming their most authentic selves. And I also wanted to say, if I can just go back off onto a different topic just for a second, I don't think that number that you mentioned, you said what, 11,000?
11 million-ish.
11 million. I don't think that number is as small as you think, particularly with technology being the way it is today, because I am greatly encouraged by the people I see just broadcasting, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Spirit tells me it's more than enough all the time. It's more than enough. It's more than enough.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 11 million, I don't know how much it would be in terms of like percentages, but would it be 11 million, we said? So 100 million, 1,000 millions is a billion. So it would be, it's way more than 1%.
And what is
way more than 1%?
Critical mass is like 3%, right? So as soon as we hit critical mass, like it's game over, bro.
Yeah. Ooh, I mean, we're there.
We're already there. We're past the tipping point.
Yes. We're spreading like oil. Look, let's bring it practical. Because its celebration is getting the understanding of what we've learned. It is acknowledging ourselves for that understanding itself, and it is the planning, let's say, and I put this quote unquote on the planning because it doesn't need to be necessarily the on Monday I'll go groceries and on Tuesday I'll go live. Can be that, but it starts from deeper. It starts from all right, for example, Isabel, you understood from like on a deeper level, and you're embodying more and more the fact that you are a teacher's teacher. And with that, it means, okay, you understood that. And this goes for everyone, just giving one that the practical example of what we spoke about. And so if you did have that understanding and you're celebrating that, you've been doing it and it's been working more, you've been feeling more aligned, you've been serving and fulfilling what your soul signed you up for, then how you double down on that next week?
Yeah. So you always have to take action, right? So
Yeah.
that practical step is always taking
It's the
action.
human experience anyways.
The human
So it's inner work and it's outer work.
Yeah. So I realized I don't have that on my website. I don't have that on my LinkedIn profile.
Ooh.
I don't, when I do posts, which is fine, I think the messaging, one of the things that Spirit was really having a conversation with me around this is that there's so many teachers afraid to teach. They're still afraid because Cynthia, you're talking about the high priest energy, and the high priest energy is the energy of the entities that wanted to have power of divinity within themselves, but they were exploring it in a nefarious way, we would say. And so they would have the power above others. And they never unlocked it. They got to a certain level, but they could never fully unlock it because empowerment is about love.
Yes, I agree with that completely. But there is good and bad to everything on this level.
Polarity. Yes, it's the polarity.
So for every high priest that was nefarious, there was another one doing the good. You know,
It's very nice. No, keep going. I'll share that later. But it's very interesting how I opened. I'll share that later about the good and bad, but keep it up.
So that polarity, right?
Yes.
That polarity must exist. That is the creation of Prime Creator.
Absolutely.
So the antimatter and the matter. So you can look into quantum physics and understand the energy of consciousness. So really what I share and unlock is energy of consciousness.
And I can actually recommend, like, if you don't want to get into all of the physics stuff, I had a very interesting experience with the Tetrabiblios by Ptolemy. Like, I came away from that having a much better understanding of how energy works.
What was it? Yeah. What was it again?
The Tetrabiblios by Ptolemy. It was sort of a subliminal thing, but it was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, let me see. Can you kind of type it? Do you have can you type it so that it's easier for people? And I'll go about this aspect as you mentioned, good and bad. It's super interesting how I opened this, and I do have a little message. When you have those yogi teas or those kind of tea bags that have a message, and I saved this one from a good while ago. And actually, it was a time when I was truly struggling, and there was this message: life is without error, good and bad are human reviews. That's what was written on this little message, and I opened it the second before you, Cynthia, mentioned the good and bad. And I was like, what? I was reading good and bad, and you were saying good and bad. And I was like, are you reading what I'm reading for some reason on this planet? It's like, yeah.
Well, to be honest, I actually, philosophically speaking, there is no good. There's only good and not good, and that is completely dependent on the perceiver and how he's
It's a,
interpreting
yeah, it's a
it.
perception, anyways. But I mean, it's interesting how there is the unity, there is the polarity, there is the good and bad, and in the very end, is there? Mm, and that's the point. I mean, and if you bring that learning week after week, anyways, into your next week, you really crush it at the end of the day. And period, you just crush it because there's no space, there's no room for self-loathing, self-criticism. There's no room for that because there's progress only. There's the inevitability of change in the universal motion of things, because you take the learning, the understanding from this week, even from this live, whomever's watching, listening to this very moment, if you take the understanding that, well, good or bad or human reviews, at the very end, it's like you understand that whatever happened this week, it's well, for you, through you, as you, preposition, you take it and you bring it into the next week. You know that whatever that was, how can you leverage on it, and what will you do then? Like, having this kind of reflection, what will you do then next week? And you can only win, because as your soul is a little part of this universal consciousness, the universal consciousness wants its own good, and it wants the best for its own smaller parts, as your whole human body wants supposedly the best for the blood cells and the bone cells. You're either a blood cell or a bone cell of the universe itself, so it wants the very best for this little thing that you are, which is massive and unlimited, by the way. So how you translate whatever happened this week into next week, into, let's say, yeah, that concrete action. And I mean, going back to the example there, nice. And then, Cynthia, I want to hear that from you. Isabel, I mean, kind of by next week, I do want you to share about, look at my new website page, and I'm the teacher's teacher. I want to hear that.
I can
I
answer.
hear that. Embodying it and bringing it onto the practical. Cynthia, what you've got?
Well, as you well know, I have a lot of long-term things going on. I have Sophia's Roulette, where we do lectures for philosophy, trying to make it fun and relatable. I'm working on a business plan to get Status 13 going on. I have 2 podcasts that I do with Radio Hydrogen Space, and I essentially what it's been is a 4-year process of just doing what I did last week better.
What is that? Give it concretely to us. Inspire us.
Well, for example, like I'm getting the business plan together to become official, and I'm working on sponsors, and I'm connecting with people, and I'm making my sound better. I'm making the podcast better. I'm getting better speakers. It's just getting better, just being better, and incrementally, for the long term, when I get to that final goal, if I get to that final goal, like it's just going to be that much sweeter. But and this is something a lot of people, and this might seem off topic, but it's totally on topic in my head. But a lot of people don't get that yeah, those long-term projects are often tedious, and it's Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill. And you can push that rock up the hill just looking at the rock, keeping your head down, and just doing the thing that you have to do, and then watching it roll back down as you take a breath to do it all over again. Or you can push that rock up the hill and notice the butterfly that landed on your shoulder, or the snail that's trying to race you. You know what I mean? Like it's all about perception. It's all about perspective and how you choose to view any given thing. And when you get into this process, if you're grateful for the little stuff, then the big stuff is just going to be that much better.
I love
I'm
it.
done. That's all we had to say.
Mic drop. Mic drop for Cynthia. It's a mic drop for Cynthia. This is what I perceive here. Look, how able are you to truly celebrate? And I bring up something specific with this because it's definitely something that is way, way, way beyond my expectations, transforming my life. And you don't need to do it this exact way. The way I'm doing it is literally having alarms going on, and it's joy alarm, and this joy alarm, whenever it goes off, I burst out with joy. I go and tap into that, and sometimes it takes me 20 minutes because maybe I'm in the midst of like complete disruption or whatsoever. It's rare, but it happens. Still human we are, and I am. So as it goes off, I tap into that joy, and whatever memory, whatever good moment of my life, whatever things that make me feel good, I get into that feeling, and then I let it spread, and then I burst it out. Okay. Now, what this is doing to me in terms of ability to celebrate and ability to welcoming even more things to be celebrated, because this is the point. Like, you have a capacity, and if life sees, oh, I mean, you don't. I'll put it like very on a money level. Oh, you. I just gave you $500. You're not really. You don't seem happy for it. I won't give you another, because maybe you had the expectation of getting $1 million out of what we were doing, and you got 500, and it's like, I got 500. Like, yeah, then I won't give you more. You don't need it. Instead, when you get those 500, you burst out, not staying with the expectation of your brain. And so this joy alarm, it's just one way, can be 1,000 million ways. But the idea is that you train your ability to just feel joy. And then I finish and then let you speak, Cynthia. What I was doing this morning that was very how you say, spontaneous. But I didn't plan to do that in the way that I do that. I was actually planning to write something else in my journaling, but that's what came up, and well, guess what? It's perfect. Those small actions that I could pour some more joy into, and I started writing, and I started writing cleaning dishes, because it means that I have food and water to clean the actual dishes that I ate. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm not angry when I clean dishes or annoyed, but what if I actually cleaning dishes because I actually had food? I'm cleaning dishes. That means that I have water. I am making the bed. Oh, heck, I'm making the bed. Guess what? It means that I slept in a nice and comfortable bed. That's not to be given for granted. It means if I'm making it, it means that I slept in it. And this goes more into the business, like creating content. Well, that shows that I have the privilege of technology. That shows that I know something that I can create content with. It's like, yes, it's tedious. It's not my favorite thing, but oh, I can create content. Heck, then I have knowledge. Heck, then I have technology. Heck, then I'm privileged. So, woo, joy there. Where can I texting people, studying and implementing, brushing my teeth? I actually have teeth. I actually have a toothbrush. I actually have the money for what is it called? Paste. having a shower, driving my car, pouring fuel in it, giving money. You know what? Oh, fuck yes. Let me be French with this. Fuck yes. Take this money. Take my money. What does that mean? That I have it. Pour joy in every blessed and freaking thing that may occur to my mind, your mind.
Well, and I would say, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, go. I that was the moment where I would say, Cynthia.
I would say what you're calling joy is actually gratitude, and this is a weird distinction, but even saying the word gratitude has resonance in it, like big resonance in the universe, big
And
resonance.
okay, it's very interesting because yes and no, and it doesn't matter. Yes, it's very important what you said, and no, a part of me kind of doesn't agree because that's when things shifted, and it doesn't matter. And the important is that we do that, right? It's the actual thing and energy that we pour into it that's the importance. So it's yes and no. The the yes is because I understand it. It is actually, I mean, gratitude. I mean, this is the point, and it's very subtle as a distinction. It's phenomenal that you brought it up because it's subtle as a distinction. Um, I'm not focusing on being grateful. I'm not focusing on being grateful in this very moment. Um, it's it's the purest it's the purest love for the thing, which is beneath gratitude. I mean, I might almost say that so everything we speak about will always be also becoming a label in itself because we are speaking it and we are humans speaking about things, and therefore we're labeling things and giving them name. And so love in itself, is it named love? It's name whatsoever. It's what it is, what it is. And so it's more kind of at the bottom of things. But love is container to gratitude, almost like
Well,
in the
gratitude.
construct of mind. So I mean, now we're going very philosophical and deep, I know, but um hmm, hmm, hmm.
Well, gratitude is the acknowledgement and recognition of that love. Like
An
every
action.
time you're grateful, you are grateful for the beauty and splendor that has been put before you, even if it's something as what some people would consider insignificant as having a bed to sleep in.
So it's an action. So you're saying that gratitude is an action.
Yes.
And what I'm hearing is that in a way, what I tap into is not gratitude. Because I mean, that's not what, and that's where it got to the next level for me, at least. And it doesn't need to be this way, anyways, right?
Well, and
Um, it's I tap into joy, and when I tap into joy, I tap into being in love with. The feeling of it is joy. The acknowledgement of it, it's more kind of action, and is being grateful for it. Like, and it's so hard. It's so subtle of a line that it's not even a real line. We make it a line because we're humans, but in unity, there's not polarity, and polarity is polarity. So it's we. I believe they are into this kind of conundrum in this very moment, that we're separating things and reuniting things that cannot be separated and that will always be.
I think if you can,
But
I just want to hop in. Wait, can you guys hear me?
yeah,
Oh, okay, good.
excellent.
So the gratitude, what you're deepening your gratitude to the sheer joy of living. And so when you are cultivating that joy, you are cultivating not only a deep sense of gratitude, but you are bringing that higher vibration of just being joyous. So there's that underlying in that beginning stages, cultivating gratitude is an appreciation and love. But what you are doing is now you are bringing in that joy and being blissful in that appreciation and gratitude.
Agreed. And all I was going to say to add on to that is gratitude is almost the manifestation of love, of joy. It is the externalization of that.
Huh.
And I encourage everyone to be grateful for everything all the time. Like, you can't say gratitude enough.
Yeah.
Oh no, absolutely.
So it's deeper and a higher vibration. And so
Which one of the two to hear it?
the gratitude and appreciation that you're experiencing is that you are feeling more joy in it. So not only appreciation and love, like being grateful, right? You're elevating it where you're like, oh my God, isn't this great? I get to wash dishes. Oh my gosh, I have hands. I can wash dishes. I can play with soap bubbles. Oh my gosh, isn't it great that I ate food? Right? So it's just, you're just going deeper and deeper into the love.
I
which is
think here. I think I'm seeing here where is the point and why it actually changed, and then I'll sort of like kind of need to shift gears in here just for the sake of time, and that like kind of
I actually have
wrapping
to
up.
leave, guys. I'm so sorry. I have to get on the road. Bye.
Indeed,
Nice
thank you,
meeting you,
thank you for
Cynthia.
being with us.
It was so nice meeting you as well. Oh, she went away.
Well, I mean, this will be the last thing, anyways.
Okay.
If you need to leave, I'll understand. There's this aspect of joy that it doesn't need the mental process of, I mean, I'm grateful for it. And there can be a part of the brain that doesn't see the reason for that.
Well, the thing is the more you see the reason, the more intentional you are about it, and the more intentional.
I agree. No, I agree. I'm not going there. Because that's practice and makes it easier. I mean, right. I see that, but it needs to start. If it doesn't start, it doesn't start. You don't get there. Joy is primordial to that.
Yeah.
Joy is primordial to that. If you can't feel joy, you can't feel gratitude. If you feel gratitude, you're joyful about it.
And one would argue,
so this is probably why it changed, because even to the things that I could not necessarily see that I want, yeah, I'm grateful for that, yeah, I'm grateful for everything whatsoever, but hacking the actual joy brought in natural gratitude.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's probably what the game changer was. And well, look, I will have other conversations like this. And by the way, this is to wrap it up indeed. Let me do a thing. Let me just bring you down. If you can stay for another couple of minutes, then we can have a chat together, Cynthia. But I will kind of do this wrap up for the people, and eventually use this little wrap up of a minute or two maximum. And so I'll just remove you from screen. If you stay on, we can have the conversation later, right? But people, this will be weekly. This is the weekly mastermind, the weekly conversation, the weekly gathering for us to bring what we've learned from previous week into the coming week with deep presence, with these bursting out vitality, with deeper integrity, to cultivate all of this stuff, to understand how to eventually bring in some deep inner work and to translate it into meaningful outer action. And look at this as a place where you can show up fully, can say whatever you want to say, a safe space. Sometimes it will be live and public, sometimes it'll be closer and private. Most of the times, actually, will be live, and this is a place, a space that will become private starting later in October. But for now, just know Fridays are for celebrating and planning together out of joy, out of presence, out of vitality and high energy, out of integrity. And today was an example. If you enjoyed it today, just rest assured you'll enjoy it next time. So stay unlimited, you everyone, embodied souls. I'm grateful to you. Look after for this next Friday. I love you. Once again, stay unlimited. Let's end it now.